The whole crew saw a whole bunch of silver darting objects. And not only did this happen once, it happened over and over.
Passenger named Michelle Reyes joined me exclusively to share a clip of video that she took from her window seat.
She said that she had noticed it when she was in the air too, so I wasn't the only one who saw it.
Have you ever felt like something was watching you from above? Objects hurtling from the sky.
It must be about 3,000 feet up now.
Whizzing past clouds with purpose.
Bruh. Look, there's something flying through the air. Oh, shit.
And a few choosing to descend.
On le voit.
Here are some of the crazy moments when alien presence becomes more than just an idea.
It must be about 3,000 feet up now, I'd say.
Well, it's official. UFOs are appearing on Earth, and they're no longer shy enough to hide in the skies. This one was cruising over a city in Indiana, and a resident managed to capture it.
It must be about 3,000 feet up now, I'd say.
According to him, this aircraft was some 3,000 feet high, and was slowly increasing its altitude. He believes the spaceship was purposefully showing itself because it wanted to send a message to mankind. All I can say is, we're doomed.
Be about 3,000 feet up now, I'd say.
Alien Appalachia. A farmer living near the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains noticed his livestock mysteriously disappearing. One day, he finally stayed long enough after dawn to capture the assailants. And it didn't turn out as expected. From the foothills emerged a UFO, one that you'd see in movies, as if on a secret mission it stalked the area, but might have felt the farmer's presence since it suddenly disappeared into thin air. The farmer had barely recovered from the shock of seeing the first UFO when this happened. Out of nowhere, 2 UFOs appeared, one even approaching the farmer. Spooked, he stopped recording, so we don't know what happened. But let's just hope he stayed safe. Galactic Dream. When a group of amateur Russian UFO hunters set out on their next hunt, they didn't expect to find this. In the middle of the sky, a blur object suspended in midair. While it's easy to chalk this up to clever editing, the way the group's behaving, you can tell they're genuinely excited about discovering something like this, making me believe it's all real. One of the UFO hunters even came in handy with a high-quality camera. As he zoomed in, you can see the UFO's outline. And here's the weirdest part. Only after the zoom can you tell it's moving. The group later lost track of the UFO, but the proof they gave us is more than enough. Glow zone.
Actually, I don't know.
I can't even see it. What the hell's wrong?
The Earth keeps welcoming strange events. Just recently, this was seen flying high above the ground in a remote town in Mexico. Here are a couple of reasons this is weird. Firstly, it's glowing insanely bright. Even if it was an ordinary object capable of glowing, it shouldn't be this clearly visible against the sun. Secondly, like a few locals wondered, this isn't some sort of hologram. It's too high up in the sky. Plus, if there was a show like that happening, most locals would be aware. Thirdly, it's not some balloon, or else it would have flown away in the first few seconds. So what sort of anomaly is this?
It's like this looks like a person with his arm sticking out.
Flyby Object.
On voit. Hey, c'était vraiment nice.
On July 3rd, 2009, the citizens of Lake Havasu, a city in Arizona, noticed a strange object flying in the sky. From the distance, it initially appeared as a round object, so they just assumed it was some sort of weather balloon that had lost its way and was unable to float down because of the heavy winds. But once they were able to get a better look, they realized it was flattened on the ends and had a peculiar shape. Exactly like the UFOs we've been seeing in cartoons and TV shows. The UFO remained airborne for quite a while, prompting citizens to wonder if this extraterrestrial aircraft was on some sort of recon mission. But it eventually flew away.
Hey, c'était vraiment nice.
Cosmic grab. Just a few days ago, the clouds above California were accompanied by a flying saucer. One luckily captured by a motion sensor camera fixed on a skyscraper. The UFO was quickly joined by 3 human figures, all 4 floating in midair. And then suddenly, a couple more shadows joined up, this time belonging to animals. In a second, the air around them warped weirdly, and the entire group disappeared. The UFO seemed to have summoned them inside, and once it was done, it quickly flew upwards out of the camera's range. Now, this is surely an alien abduction, but why? My theory is that extraterrestrial creatures are slowly building their own human settlement to rule over and control. Stealth visitor. A man camping at Banff National Park in Canada captured a strange triangular object silently passing through the forest. The UFO glowed at the base, suggesting that it wasn't just a normal aircraft, but one possibly carrying extraterrestrial passengers. The UFO kept hovering over the area, unsure of whether to take its leave or stay. Honestly, from the way it's behaving, you'd think the UFO had plans to pitch its own tent in the forest, but thankfully it decided to move along. Otherwise, we'd be dealing with an alien invasion sooner than we imagined. Space burn.
On le voit! Attends, mais c'est vraiment... Oh, ça...
In 2018, in Quebec, a bizarre object took to the skies. Its unusual appearance quickly sparked fear and wonder in the citizens, who were smart enough to start recording. Now try to explain this. You can't say it's a hologram. If that were the case, the people recording it would have known. It's also not some sort of space debris or the remnant of a rocket. There wasn't a launch in the area during that time. Plus, this object glowed in multiple colors and even took on a green hue. One of the citizens zoomed in and remarked he could see a slight hint of lights, suggesting this is some sort of alien spaceship.
Hey, c'était vraiment nice.
Space Avenger. UFOs don't always take the stereotypical saucer shape. Sometimes they can even look like a man wearing a suit. Or maybe that is what's happening here. When this object appeared over the skies in New Mexico, it initially fooled quite a few people into thinking this was a superhuman. But since that didn't make sense, they were convinced it was some sort of prototype being tested by the American military. That would explain why it hasn't been out yet. However, a few are heavily convinced that this could be an alien spacecraft. Its unique shape and the ability to fly might owe to some technology we haven't been able to figure out yet. Flight risk. Here's a thought. Maybe the aliens have been flying overhead for decades, but we haven't been able to see because they're unreachable, which explains why more and more passengers aboard a plane are seeing them. This UFO clearly didn't expect to be recorded, so it's not hiding behind the clouds either. As it silently passes over the clouds, it seems to be inspecting the area. The passenger recording believes the UFO was equipped with some highly advanced scanning device that was gathering intel from that large distance. That said, we're doomed, aren't we? Camouflaging Passenger. You probably have had enough of bizarre-looking objects flying in the sky. So now, let's have a look at this. Flying just above the ground. I can't tell if it's some object or a guy in the fetal position that has somehow cracked the code of flying without any gear. Did you notice the change? dark at first, it changed its color to the background, like it was camouflaging. Speculations of flying aliens among us went viral online, as many were sure no human could pull this off. Some even said that the alien was here on a mission to spy on us. But let me know what you think of this flying alien. Spanish UFO.
What is that?
A drone, plane, or something extraterrestrial? What was this object captured floating in the skies over Spain? A couple of years back, this strange sight was witnessed by many. In the otherwise cloudless sky, an object was spotted floating. As it just looked like a tiny dot from a distance, when the guy recording zoomed in, a huge object emerged. Yellowish brown in color, the object was rotating but didn't change its position in the sky and had no apparent exhaust system. It ticked all the boxes for being a UFO. Many people also thought it looked like a giant ear. And if you look closely, it does look like that. A rotating giant ear. Quite a sight in the sky.
What is that?
E.T. undetected. Over the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, a couple of officers in training captured an unfamiliar flying object. Since they just joined the Air Force, they thought they were being hazed or pranked, but it soon became clear this was genuinely an anomaly no one knew about. What's even scarier than this mysterious UFO is the exact location it chose to appear. If it could appear atop an Air Force base without getting detected, what are the chances of such things flying around all the time? And how do we know we're safe? The UFO remained airborne for quite some time, but eventually took off. India's first contact. India just recently dealt with an unidentified aircraft flying somewhere close to a valley in Kashmir. Initially, the folks recording this assumed it was just a spy satellite, but if that were true, it would have shown on the radar, as the military wouldn't have allowed that. But if we think about it, it's even weirder this one didn't show up on the radar at all, which means it possesses technology humans haven't been able to crack yet. Its appearance is also quite suspicious, almost like a weapon. Maybe it's a way to warn us of an imminent invasion. Either way, I'm glad this isn't happening close to home. Escape from DC. Who says Superman isn't real? Something similar suddenly took off from the sky. The creature, or object, was unknowingly captured by a man exploring a wildlife reserve. Since he had been hiding in the bushes, he went unnoticed by whatever ungodly object it was. When the video was uploaded, many commenters wondered if this was a test aircraft, but that doesn't explain the flowy robe. Many believe this is actually a human with insane abilities, but one that's also able to morph their shape, so they won't be easily recognized. Silent retreat.
Bruh.
Look, there's something flying through the air.
As the recent solar eclipse got closer to full totality, numerous people pointed their phones at the sky and accidentally recorded something whizzing behind the clouds. A few keen-eyed observers immediately noticed it, but it moved so fast they couldn't figure out what it was. After the eclipse was over, they reviewed the video and noticed it looked remarkably similar to a disc, meaning the aliens took the eclipse as their opportunity to descend to Earth.
Bruh.
Look, there's something flying through the air.
Dementor by side. When the passenger asked for the window seat, they probably weren't expecting an encounter with the foulest being on Earth, a Dementor. Looking out of their window, the passenger noticed a huge, dark hue flying beside the plane, and it suddenly disappeared behind the plane's wing before separating into two. Sure, they'd seen the soulless Dementor itself, but the passenger didn't dare open the window again throughout the rest of the journey. Romanian Wormhole. The scariest thing just happened in Romania. As onlookers stared at the sky, it roared and split into a wide, gaping hole. Horrified, the people around couldn't figure out what it was. Some thought it was an alien doorway. Opening up to finally start the invasion we've all been fearing. But after a while of staring back, nothing emerged, so they knew that wasn't the case. But that doesn't make things any easier. Many suggest this could be a wormhole, generating a doorway to another dimension. Whatever the theory is, this is some sort of a crazy portal, and we really should be praying not to see what's on the other side. Mid-sky shift.
Sees that? An object apparently changing shapes in seconds.
What? It's one thing to see something unusual in the sky. It's another when you're sitting on a plane flying some 40,000 feet high. But this did happen to a passenger who was lucky enough to snag the window seat and noticed something peculiar right outside her window. At first, she thought this was a smaller aircraft, but in just a few seconds, it became clear this wasn't something we're capable of making. To her surprise, the object started moving insanely fast, as if it was phasing, and changed its shape right in front of her eyes. Now either it's some alien creature, or a spacecraft capable of changing its appearance.
Sees that? An object apparently changing shapes in seconds.
What? Giant saucer. Posted anonymously, this clip has been making the rounds on the internet. A giant saucer was captured descending on the ground with numerous lights on its sides. Resembling the typical UFO description, rumors about it being an alien invasion buzzed online. The location of the sighting was not disclosed, most likely to keep people away from rushing there. However, when nothing happened days after the sighting, the clip became a huge question if it really was an alien spaceship or something else entirely. The Blue Trail.
I see it. It's so weird.
This sight was so unusual, it even made it on the news. It happened a few weeks ago in Scottsdale, Arizona. And before you go on claiming it's some sort of amusement park or a giant building, the news reporter on scene confirmed this wasn't the case. There really was nothing there, except for the mysteriously blue glowing object.
So if you're in Scottsdale right now, near McDowell and Hayden Road.
This wasn't its only sighting. It was also spotted in Mesa and Phoenix City, so we know this really isn't something you can explain like a lost balloon. Weirdly enough, instead of descending, it continued to rise up and disappeared, leaving citizens in a confused frenzy.
I see it. It's so weird.
Are you watching like in the camera?
Unusual neighbors. Imagine seeing this when you're driving home from work. We don't know where this was filmed, except it took place somewhere in the US. And the people recording this were sure it wasn't just some normal airplane taking off or an illusion, because it managed to keep up with them for quite a while before they started recording. When the video was uploaded, many believed the fleet of orbs was actually the interior lights and their reflection. But see how this disappears behind the trees? That wouldn't have been possible. An Alien Stalker. We've been seeing flying orbs all over the world, and while we've chalked it up to a few camera tricks, try explaining this. A couple of residents in Mexico noticed a large, bright orb floating in the middle of the woods. But check this out. Not too far off, there's another, smaller orb tailing the first one. Even if this were some sort of natural phenomena, you wouldn't be able to explain these orbs and their unusual movements. The locals recording this site believe they'd captured some sort of alien spacecraft. They think it divides itself into a couple of parts to throw humans off their scent, and eventually combines back together. Well, wouldn't that be interesting? Halo in 1. The craziest thing just happened in Yunnan, China. Just a few days ago, the skies over the city of Dali drew a giant glowing ring. The citizens initially assumed it was just the sun peeking out from behind the clouds, but that turned out to be the wrong explanation. If we look carefully, it seems like there's something giant hiding behind the cloud. Many onlookers think this could be an alien spaceship trying its best to take cover behind our skies. Others have an even scarier explanation. Some believe this is actually a magical realm or another world up there, floating in the sky and unexpectedly captured on camera. Portal of Doom. Now, would you look at that? As some UAE citizens were on their way to work, they noticed this unusual object in the sky. A few joked that it might be a portal to an unknown world, or that it's proof we're living in a simulation and the sky just glitched. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm pretty sure there's a logical explanation to this one. Maybe it's just the way the sky spun itself that day. But whatever the reason, it's surely spooky to see. UFO uproar. Just this January, the skies in Kazakhstan glowed and a fleet of orbs appeared. Flying in unison, the fleet slowly came to a standstill, eventually halting in the middle of the sky. Onlookers who captured the scene were perplexed. They couldn't figure out if it was an Air Force practice or a dark invasion. One of them even pointed a bright laser at the sky, hoping to disrupt whatever it was, but the group seemed unfazed. We know this isn't the Air Force, since no aircraft would be able to hover completely still for such a long time. But maybe it's time to admit we're getting closer and closer to alien invasions, and sites like this are just the start. Sun duo. Just as a couple recorded a romantic sunrise, another bright orb appeared just adjacent. Now I know, after the recent eclipse, we'd all think that this is what was happening. But the couple panned the camera to the sky, and you can see the moon on the other side. The two suns remained together for a while, until eventually the couple stopped recording. Here's the crazy part. This isn't just some meteorological phenomena like we think. Many believe this could be the emergence of the Nibiru, a secondary planet that would eventually collide with the Earth and lead to the end of the world. If that's the case, we better start praying. Gleaming glitch. What are all these people looking at? Well, apparently, a glitch in the sky. This viral video from China has everyone talking about a mysterious glitch in the sky. Even though the clip was short, people questioned its authenticity. But given that multiple people on the street witnessed the same phenomena in the cloud, it's unlikely to be a hoax. Theories circulated online, with some thinking it's a fleet of luminous drones, while others suggest it was an unexplained glitch. Without further evidence, no one could tell the true nature of this sky anomaly. Cosmic abduction. Are we actually seeing an alien abduction take place? It sounds so surreal and unrealistic, and yet, take a look here. This is clearly some sort of alien craft shamelessly spotlighting the ground in hopes of pulling whatever poor creature falls in its trap. This was recorded by a citizen in California, and he swears there's nothing remotely similar to this object in the area anywhere. The weird thing is, the exact same aircraft also appeared in Oak Cliff in Dallas, Texas. Now go on, try explaining that. Lightning UFO. There are hundreds of bizarre objects zipping through our skies every day. This one here was captured in Taiwan, when a group of locals spotted this odd blue glow in the sky. Netizens thought someone out of this world would emerge soon and wipe out human existence. Some suggested these were the UFO contrails left behind by some unknown object. However, with no further information about the sighting, it was left unidentified. Blinking oddity. As the sky grew darker and darker, a mysterious figure descended on Earth. With every movement, it glowed bright, and then extinguished itself. This fluctuating creature was spotted by a bunch of locals in Peru, who naturally were quite spooked out. They thought it was some sort of kite, maybe a balloon, but that wouldn't explain how the creature flashed brightly. It even changed its shape, prompting many to wonder if this was some sentient creature that was transforming itself to blend in with the humans. Well, the next time someone's acting suspiciously, you might want to be careful. Invisible craft. We think aliens will come pouring out of the blue, but maybe they've always been with us, hiding behind the clouds, keeping an eye on us. But it looks like one of their spaceships messed up the controls, or malfunctioned, because its cloak of invisibility no longer worked, and its outline was seen by hundreds of locals in Peru. For a while, the spaceship's eerie stillness even fooled some people into thinking this was some sort of mirage or a reflection in the sky. But then, something scurried on board, and it's clear that whatever's hanging up in the sky, it's loaded with passengers too. Evil limelight. When the clouds part and the heavens decide to shine a spotlight on Earth, that's when you know we're getting close to the apocalypse. But there's something so spooky and creepy about this one, you can tell it's not bringing anything good. This happened over a city in Mexico, and the people recording were sure this was an evil omen. A few level-headed folks did initially think this was some sort of projection, or perhaps a hologram, but if that were the case, it wouldn't have spooked them out so much. If you look a little closely, the spotlight seems to have some sort of object in the middle. It could be a UFO, or some alien creature. A Muggle's Dream. All the times we thought J.K. Rowling was just messing with us, but Hogwarts really exists. It appeared in the sky in Jinan, China, spooking visitors, or should I say, muggles. A few commented that it's possible schools like this really exist and are just invisible to us. If that's the case, I'm still hoping to get my letter. But this is actually an illusion. The castle in the sky resembles the Hebei Academy of Fine Arts, which somehow ended up being projected in the area. It's also possible this is just an actual building that has towers like that, but because of the dense smog, we're only able to look at a shadow. Glowing rings. Back in 2018, an unusual sight puzzled onlookers in South Korea. A clip of the incident went viral online. Have a look for yourself. This giant ring appeared in the sky, prompting locals to think a portal to another realm had opened up. What stood out even more were the small glowing orbs encircling it. And surprisingly, there were two of them. Both rings accompanied by shimmering, moving orbs. Some suggested it was a secret military project, while others entertained the idea of extraterrestrial visitors. UFO Cloud. Residents of a Turkish city had an unexpected encounter with the unknown. The cars driving on the highway witnessed this giant cloud that looked like it had extraterrestrial origins, with many people speculating it was a disguised spaceship. Authorities were quick to dismiss the claims, saying the sight in the sky was actually a lenticular cloud. The rising sun had given it that reddish hue. Nature always has something new up its sleeves. Mauna Kea. A group of visitors on a trip to Hawaii were treated to a strange sight when they went out for a nighttime walk. In the sky above, a strange glowing spiral was captured moving. The moving vortex had an orb in its center. As the sight was seen over an inactive volcano, Mauna Kea, an old theory was revived, with many believing the vortex was actually a UFO visiting an alien base inside the inactive volcano. But soon the claims were debunked when authorities stepped in, saying the flying spiral was actually a new satellite recently launched into space. Giant above. Residents of a Chinese town witnessed an astonishing sight in the sky as a colossal figure caught the attention of many. People stopped to observe and capture the unexplainable phenomena on camera. The figure resembled a towering humanoid from another universe, peering over the city with its glowing head. Speculation ran wild among locals. Some believed it to be a guardian angel watching over the citizens, while others dismissed it as a natural cloud formation. So, do you think it was a guardian angel? Share your thoughts in the comments. Portal in Jerusalem. This clip was recorded in the skies above Jerusalem, where these huge, pristinely glowing waves were seen by many. Presented as many people thought it was a portal to heaven, skeptics, however, believed it was just some strange celestial formation. A portal to heaven or not? The moving waves sure presented a heavenly sight. Flying exhaust. We all know having no exhaust system is one of the properties of a UFO. But what if an unknown flying object is all exhaust? A very similar sight was recorded somewhere in Buckinghamshire. The object looked like it was just exhaust. When the clip was uploaded online, many jumped in with their theories about the object. Some said it could be an exhaust system of another aerial vehicle, while some space enthusiasts said this was actually an alien spaceship, with new technology to debunk the anti-exhaust claims. Hanging branch. Is this lone branch hanging in the sky by itself? A bunch of locals spotted this hanging branch among a group of tall palm trees. Was there some invisible tree, or was it just chilling all by itself? The viral clip initiated a frenzy of speculations, where some said it might be a case of pareidolia, a human tendency to see patterns in random objects. But it was pretty visible even through the camera. I think this looks like a broken witch broom. If these guys should have taken a look around, they probably would have found the witch as well, lying on the ground nearby. Blue glow. A few months back, two fishermen near Bridge Surf Beach in Puerto Rico had a surprising encounter. While out on their boat, they noticed a strange blue glow in the water. Deciding to approach cautiously, they were shocked to see a humanoid figure with glowing eyes underwater. The video of this encounter sparked speculation online. Some thought it was just a diver, but the fisherman's fear and the glowing eyes made it more mysterious. What do you think? A regular diver? Or something extraordinary? Let me know in the comments. The secret base. Many UFO enthusiasts claim extraterrestrial crafts have created secret landing spots and bases high up on the mountains, where they know they won't be seen easily. One UFO enthusiast tried to find out if this theory was true, and began hiking one of the tallest mountains in the area. While he didn't find any UFO where he was trying to climb, he did see a similar blip on the other end. After zooming in, he noticed it was actually an aircraft trying to pass through the other side without being seen. Not knowing it was being recorded, the UFO enthusiast is sure there's a base up there, but since he has kept his identity a secret, we might never know for sure. Open discussion. A hiker caught this, trying its best to hide above a steep mountain. As the UFO hung over the air, the hiker also noticed something far more peculiar. At the very top of the mountain, there seems to be a few objects strewn about. These aren't just your ordinary shrubs. Judging by the distance and the size, this is pretty much some sort of facility. Maybe the government has been in cahoots with the aliens all this time. What do you think?